Summer in the American suburbs is built on a specific kind of openness. It's the season of back doors left ajar to catch a breeze, kids roaming between yards, and the assumption that nothing bad happens while the sun is up. This layout reveals why that comfort is pervasive. When houses are packed this tightly, we stop relying on our own vigilance and rely on the collective gaze of the neighborhood. If everyone is watching, we assume someone is seeing. This creates what psychologists call the sanctuary, a mental map where property lines and garden fences are treated as impenetrable physical shields, even when they're just markers on a lawn. But an intruder doesn't see a sanctuary. They see a lack of physical barriers. To someone with malicious intent, those psychological lines are invisible, offering no resistance to a person willing to simply walk across the grass. Analysis of home breaches suggests that this sense of security is actually a vulnerability. Most successful intrusions bypass our defenses by exploiting three specific tactics: opportunity, testing, and deception. In July of 2011, a 13-year-old in Westchester, New York, was home alone with two friends. It was a bright, clear afternoon in a standard suburban neighborhood, the kind of environment that feels impossible to breach without being noticed. The boys spent the afternoon in the backyard play wrestling, fully absorbed in mimicking WWE moves. This level of engagement creates a total sensory blackout. When you're focused on the game in front of you, you aren't looking at the windows of your own house. That distraction was all it took. Because the back door was unlocked, a disheveled, unstable man simply walked inside. He spent minutes upstairs, rummaging through every bedroom while the kids played outside, only discovered when one boy happened to glance up and saw a stranger staring back from a second-story window. This is the tactic of opportunity. An intruder doesn't need to plan a complex heist if they can find a single point of entry left open during the daytime, the exact time when homeowners believe they are most visible and therefore most safe. High neighborhood density doesn't always act as a deterrent. Instead, it provides a backdrop of normal activity that allows an opportunistic intruder to move unnoticed, using the very presence of neighbors as a form of social camouflage. In rural areas, the threat changes. Physical distance from neighbors means that if someone decides to watch your house, there are no secondary sets of eyes to catch them. You are the only line of defense. While dog-sitting at an isolated house in the woods, a man noticed the dog's behavior change on a trail. The dog froze, staring into the trees, detecting a presence that the human could not yet see or hear. In isolated environments, animal instinct often serves as the only early warning system. Later that night, the probe moved to the front door. A stranger knocked, asking for someone named Tom, a name that didn't match anyone in the house. This is perimeter testing. The intruder isn't looking for a way in yet, checking to see who answers, how they react, and if it's an easy target. The testing escalated at 11 p.m. when a figure was spotted running along the edge of the woods. When the dog gave chase, the sitter followed him into the dark, only to find himself surrounded by the sound of heavy footsteps circling him from different directions in the blackness of the canopy. The tree line creates a massive tactical imbalance. The intruder can observe the illuminated house from total darkness, remaining invisible, while the homeowner is perfectly spotlighted by their own security lights. Physical isolation means help is always 20 minutes away. Once an intruder begins testing the perimeter, the vastness of the property becomes a liability rather than a luxury. Deception is the most sophisticated tactic because it requires the homeowner to participate in their own breach. During a crowded Memorial Day barbecue in Georgia, the sheer noise of the celebration masked the early signs of a threat. A blood-curdling scream echoed from the woods, stopping the party. But because it was a holiday, the adults dismissed it as a prank. This is the first stage of the lure, creating a situation that the victim's brain will rationalize away as harmless. After the guests left, the doorbell rang. A man outside claimed to be neighbor Jack and asked to come in. He was weaponizing social politeness, hoping the homeowner would feel obligated to open the door to a neighbor in need. When the homeowner refused to open the door, the intruder pivoted to a physical weakness, an unlocked manual garage door. Inside, the homeowner found a swaying black mass hiding. The intruder successfully bypassed the property line and exterior walls, reaching the home's final interior layer. Deception turns our social training into a tool for the intruder. Our instinct to be helpful or polite is the very thing a predator uses to convince us to lower our guard. For those who have experienced these breaches, the impact remains long after the intruder is gone. The backyard is no longer a place of relaxation. The tree line isn't just scenery, it's a blind spot that requires constant observation. These stories show that a mechanical lock is only as effective as the person using it. Even the heaviest deadbolt offers no protection if we are talked into opening it, or if we are too distracted to notice a window being tested. Real security isn't a feature of the house, it's a state of mind. The lock on the door is the final, thin barrier, but the real defense begins with a willingness to see threats before they reach the porch.